So when we talk about the what's happening in America, what amazes me is, for some of you that are younger or maybe more conservative, you might not know Naomi Wolf. Naomi Wolf is a historically powerful women's liberation, female writer and advocate. And what makes her interesting to me is she falls into that category of the liberals, a dying breed, by the way, actual liberals who haven't become Marxists yet. And that means that these are the ones that will consult, as she has, the Democratic Party, help the Clinton administration figure out how to get into office. And that she started seeing around 9/11 the danger of centralized government getting so strong it was threatening the sovereignty of the individual. These are the liberals we need. Oh my gosh, we need, because they're about freedom of speech. And they may disagree with me, but they don't want my voice taken down, and they don't want me put into a concentration camp because I don't have the woke political ideas that the other side has. But I want you to listen to her because she's talking to Dinesh D'Souza, conservative author, and he's pointing out that she's actually sounding the alarm, and she started doing it about government power. Way back at 9/11, she was afraid of what was coming with the government targeting its own citizens as terrorists, potentially. Let's listen to her.
The pandemic has allowed governors and boards of health to enact emergency measures, to crush businesses, to impose on people's physical bodies, making decisions about vaccination that should be personal decisions or family decisions for children, to suppress assembly in New York State. I can't even gather with more than 10 people without risking a $15,000 fine. My potluck on the 14th is going to be illegal if 11 people show up. The emergency measures are all around us, and we are barely allowed to notice because lockdown helps us keep from noticing. We're isolated from one another. We're kept from going to a town hall and saying, what the heck, we need our Constitution back.
What the heck, we need our Constitution back. Who would have thought that we're going to be finding conservatives and liberals and Christians and pro-liberal left-wing advocates like Naomi Wolf all on the same side crying out, we better wake up. Mercedes, you know as well as I do that corporations make up some of the largest influence. The globalists helped to fund the takedown of Donald Trump because Donald Trump stood in the way of the Davos crowd. And when nations and corporations conspire, we predicted this on page 104, I might say, of this best-selling book on God's chaos code. We had predicted that there was going to be a greater conspiracy, and we were going to be seeing the top 10 corporations that are larger than most countries are going to act like political forces in the earth. And so right now, we've got these companies are coming against the mask removal in Texas. They don't want us to do the mask removal. They're going to continue to practice the mask policy. In Target, just letting you know, I'm getting the list right here, who's naughty and nice. Target is going to still resist the Texans and Floridians who want freedom. When you go into Macy's, I want you to know you're back under the authority of the sovereign federal government working with the globalists. I'm sorry to say the Hyatt Regency, although who was it that just hosted the CPAC? Hyatt? I'm going to give them a free pass. They're going in a different category. Temporary reprieve for Hyatt. We're going to give you an okay.
No, but they made them wear the masks. That was the big thing, is they all had to wear masks.
You're back again in the pile of yuck. All right, Walgreens and AMC theaters, so you can watch your movie, unless you're eating popcorn. If you're eating popcorn, you're no longer a super spreader. You can take your mask off, eat your popcorn, and watch your show. But once you're done with the popcorn, the super spreading stops. All right, Alamo Drafthouse Cinema. Never heard of it. Central Market. I have heard of that. By the way, great salad section.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore, according to us. Anyway, I'm not going to continue to get these people because you got the idea. There's 10 of them. And you know who's not on the list? Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell is not on the list. They're trying to shut him down for other reasons, but he's going to at least give you freedom to wear your pill.
Lance, I want to say something because
Did I say Starbucks? Starbucks. Fed up with it. What?
Yeah, Starbucks is always in that list. Okay, so what I want to say, because I was trying to explain this morning. I was talking to my mom before I got here, and she's like, could you tell me what Davos is, though? Like, what is it really? And so I just want to make sure people understand what it is and what we're really up against. Because when you say these companies, some of these companies are larger than nations, when you look at the gross revenue for these companies against the GDP of different countries, you would be shocked to see, for example, on our list on page 104, Walmart has $482 billion that it brought in, more than Spain's GDP of $461 billion, Australia's GDP, Netherlands, South Korea, Belgium, Mexico, Switzerland, India, and Norway. Walmart has a larger take. They're bringing more cash in than these nations are. And so, Lance, I just want you to explain a little bit, just in case people don't know. I know this is a very informed crowd, but we do get a lot of people coming and going that may not fully understand the danger of what Davos is and what they're trying to do globally.
One world government. That's the freaky thing. You know, the Bible has its Book of Revelation story about an end-time beast, which has all the nations assimilated into a global government with a global economic system, which is digital, that is microscopic, that can literally be in the back of your hand or your forehead. This stuff that sounds sci-fi, there actually is right now. They're fast-tracking a discussion about the potential, if we ever have a cashless society or a collapsed dollar type thing, that they're going to be going. They're already fast-tracking the discussion of digital capacity. Because who do you think wants to really, you've got Google, you got Apple, you got these companies that are in the top 20 largest corporations globally. They're now so strong, they're stronger than the budgets of nations. Entire nations are weaker than the corporations. So these are trans corporations now. And the devices are going to be able to do your currency transactions here. And if you don't have your device on you, it's just a little digital thing here. And trust me, this vaccine, this global lockdown, the global vaccine, it's just they're conditioning us to be able to get the shot or the whatever in order to be part of the system. It's like it's a scary proposition, but you don't have to yield to the fear, because if you can see it, then you can push back on it. And the Bible does describe, and I got to say this for viewers, the Bible describes two kinds of nations when Jesus comes back. Believe it or not, there's sovereign nations, and there are nations assimilated into a global beast or a global government. These globalists want the global government because they think they're the ones that are going to set the rules. They have no idea how they're going to ride the back of a tiger that actually eats them. So your job right now is to not fear, but to be informed and to be fully engaged in the sphere that you operate and in your state. If you're locally engaged and if you're informed by programs like this, you actually start to understand the news cycles so much better. With this Naomi Wolf, I want to say something because we just saw the Naomi Wolf segment. She wrote this article back in 2007, but I want you to just listen to what she said were the characteristics that she feared were going to start to come in the United States. That invoke a terrifying internal, external enemy. They're starting to call people that vote for Trump an internal terrorist group. Create a gulag, which means start to separate people out for the public safety. You can do that now in Israel. As I'm scared with what they're doing right now with COVID down there. It's like they're isolating people that won't take the vaccine. It's weird for Israel to do that. Develop a thug caste, brown shirts, some sort of militia or paramilitary. See, they're all talking about, they're afraid about the Trump conservative militia and all that stuff. That's all a lie. That's actually a diversion. What you already have is you had the Time magazine talk about how they had 200 to 400 uprisings ready in the event that Trump was able to seize power. The actual black shirts, brown shirts, contemporary shirts are going to be your Antifa and activist groups, which we've already saw bring us 4 months of chaos. Set up an internal surveillance system. Now you're looking at how technology, do you know that your thermostat, your Google, your phone, my own staff is putting like on their computers, they're putting masking tape over things. I said, what are you doing? They said they could spy on you. And it's an actual fact. Your devices can eavesdrop on you and spy on you. You ever have it happen? Siri's talking to you, you're not even talking to Siri? Setting up an internal surveillance system, harass citizens groups with IRS, stalk them, join their organization. We got now the FBI doing this stuff, joining conservative groups in order to spy on them. They should be, and look at Christopher Wray with the FBI sitting on Hunter Biden's laptop. He couldn't find it during an impeachment proceeding, but they're all over right now checking out the conservatives to make sure the terrorist cells are being identified. And anyway, I'll give you more of these, but these are so powerful. Engage in arbitrary detention and release. That's another one where suddenly you're being detained at an airport. You're being detained at this. You're being detained at that. That's what China would do. They'd take you out for a day or two. You didn't know why, but then they put you back, and you'd be blacklisted. And then they target key individuals to deplatform them, take them off, take their books off of Amazon, take their voice off the internet. My God, this Naomi Wolf wrote this. Control the press, control the media. This is what Germany did. So Czechoslovakia did this. In other words, this liberal female feminist activist in 2007 predicted what was going to happen because the government, left or right, is dangerous to give too much power to. We don't trust government with that much power. So when we come back, I can't believe today's broadcast is wrapping up, and we got the most exciting part coming. The best part's about to come. So stay with us because you don't want to miss the next segment. We're going to expose some things that you probably have not heard in the news from any other source. Coming to you here with Firewall.
As a pandemic wreaks havoc and angry mobs burn our cities, Lance Wallnau explains why this is happening and takes you into the ancient text he describes as God's Chaos Code. This is the exciting sequel to Lance's best-selling book, God's Chaos Candidate, where he predicted Donald Trump would be president. God's Chaos Code predicts this exact moment in history and what is coming next.
When you're in the midst of shaking and uncertainty, the one thing that can give you confidence is knowing what God has said about the time that you're in. If the Lord tells you ahead of time what's going to happen, you can be certain things are going to be working out. The Lord has given us that code in the Bible. He's told us what's coming in America, what's coming to the nations. He's literally given us the chaos code. We can understand what's happening and be awakened in the midst of it. You need to understand and get this chaos code.
You need to know the code. Order God's Chaos Code now at godschaoscode.com.